Imagine sailing across an ocean so vast that you could travel for thousands of years without seeing a single island, a single bird, or even a ripple in the water. Now, scale that up to the cosmos. In the direction of the constellation Boötes, there is a hole in the universe. A sphere of darkness so immense that it defies the laws of cosmic distribution. If the Milky Way were in the center of this void, we wouldn't have known other galaxies existed until the 1960s. It is a place where light goes to die, and gravity seems to lose its grip. What created this 300 million light-year grave? Today on Wikivedia Plus, we will unveil the mystery of the Boötes Void. Let's dive in. In the late summer of 1981, the world was preoccupied with terrestrial concerns. But at the Kitt Peak National Observatory, a group of astronomers led by Robert Kirshner was looking at something that would challenge our entire understanding of cosmic architecture. They were conducting a survey of galaxies, expecting to see the universe as a relatively uniform distribution of matter. They expected a cosmic web where galaxies are linked like pearls on a string. Instead, they hit a wall of nothingness. Kirshner's data showed a region of space so devoid of matter that it felt like a missing piece of a puzzle. At first, they thought their instruments were failing. They checked the sensors, the calibration, the atmospheric interference. Everything was perfect. The sensors weren't lying. The universe was empty. This region, now known as the Boötes Void, is roughly 330 million light-years in diameter. To visualize that, you could fit to 1,500 Milky Way galaxies across its width. It represents nearly 0.7% of the diameter of the observable universe, a massive, hollow bubble in the middle of everything. To understand why the Boötes Void is so terrifying to scientists, we have to understand how the universe is built. We were taught that the universe expanded from the Big Bang, spreading matter out like a fine mist. Gravity then took over, pulling that mist into clumps, which became stars, then galaxies, then clusters. This process creates a structure known as the cosmic web. In this web, galaxies are concentrated along invisible filaments of dark matter, with voids in between. But voids are usually small. They are the holes in the Swiss cheese of the cosmos. The Boötes Void, however, is not a hole. It is a canyon. It is what astronomers call a supervoid. According to the standard model of cosmology, there simply hasn't been enough time since the Big Bang for a void of this size to form through natural gravitational drifting. Matter moves slowly. Gravity takes billions of years to pull galaxies together. For a region of this size to be cleared out so thoroughly, it would require much more time than the 13.8 billion years our universe has existed. This is the first crack in the scientific narrative. When Kirshner first discovered the void, he thought it was completely empty. Later, more sensitive telescopes found that it wasn't a total vacuum. Deep inside the darkness, they found a handful of galaxies, roughly 60 in total. In any other region of space of this size, there should be at least 10,000 galaxies. These 60 galaxies are the ultimate survivors. They are billions of light-years away from any neighbors. Imagine living on a planet in one of those galaxies. If you looked up at the night sky, you wouldn't see a band of stars or the glow of distant clusters. You would see total, absolute blackness. The sheer psychological weight of that isolation is hard to comprehend. These galaxies are arranged in a strange, straight line of filament that cuts through the center of the void like a lonely highway. Scientists believe this filament might be the last remains of a much larger structure that was somehow consumed or pushed aside. If nature abhors a vacuum, why did the universe allow a 330 million light-year gap to exist? Is it possible that we aren't looking at a natural formation at all, but rather the aftermath of something else? The most mainstream explanation for the Boötes Void is the soap bubble theory. Imagine two small bubbles of air in a sink full of soapy water. When they touch, They merge into one larger bubble. Astronomers suggest that billions of years ago, several smaller voids, each normal in size, drifted together and merged. This would explain the massive diameter, but it doesn't explain the cleanliness. When voids merge, they usually leave behind debris, dust, gas, and small dwarf galaxies. The Boötes Void is too clean. It's as if something swept the floor of the cosmos. This is where we move from traditional astronomy into the realm of the truly mysterious. In 1964, Nikolai Kodaché proposed a scale to measure the technological advancement of a civilization. A Type 3 civilization is one that can control the energy of its entire host galaxy. Now, think about how such a civilization would look from a distance. If a Type 3 civilization wanted to harness every ounce of energy from its stars, it would build Dyson spheres. These are massive structures that completely enclose a star to capture its radiation. A star inside a Dyson sphere is invisible to our telescopes because its light never escapes. Now, imagine a civilization that has expanded across thousands or even millions of stars. As they enclose star after star, that region of space would slowly go dark. To an outside observer millions of light years away, it would look like a growing hole in the sky. Could the Boötes Void be the footprint of an ancient, hyper-advanced empire? If a civilization started at the center and expanded outward in all directions, they would leave behind a spherical void of darkness. The 60 galaxies we see inside could be the ones they haven't reached yet, or perhaps galaxies they decided to leave alone. While this remains a fringe theory, the mathematical impossibility of the void's natural formation keeps this alien expansion hypothesis alive in the minds of many. There is another chilling possibility. The Boötes Void might be related to the Great Attractor, a mysterious gravitational anomaly that is pulling our entire corner of the universe toward it. Some scientists argue that the matter that should be in the Boötes Void wasn't pushed out, it was pulled. But pulled by what? Some suggest the presence of dark flow, a phenomenon where clusters of galaxies are moving at incredible speeds toward a point outside the observable universe. If there is something massive beyond our cosmic horizon, something so heavy it can pull matter across hundreds of millions of light years, it could have sucked the Boötes Void dry. We are essentially looking at the wake of a cosmic drain. Beyond the math and the physics, the Boötes Void forces us to confront our own insignificance. We live in a vibrant, crowded neighborhood of the universe. We are surrounded by light, but the Boötes Void reminds us that the default state of the universe is not life, and it is not light. It is a cold, silent vacuum. If we ever sent a signal into the void, it would travel for 330 million years before it hit anything. It is a place where time and space seem to lose their meaning. It is the ultimate laboratory for understanding the dark ages of the universe. As we point our newer, more powerful telescopes like the James Webb toward the darkness, we aren't just looking for galaxies. We are looking for the reason why the universe has a hole in its heart. The history of cosmic mapping is filled with surprises, but nothing quite like the silence of the Boötes constellation. From the initial 1981 findings to the complex redshift surveys of the late 90s, every new piece of data has only deepened the mystery. We are currently observing other similar regions, like the Unveiling void, which also shows a massive cold spot in the cosmic microwave background radiation left over from the Big Bang. Are these voids natural results of the chaotic inflation of the early universe, or are they the first signs of a universe that is being slowly systematically disassembled? As we look into the abyss, we must remember that sometimes the most important part of the story is the part that isn't there. As the echoes of today's story fade back into the archive, we are left once again at the edge of the unknown. Thank you for journeying with us to the fringes of history and science. If these mysteries resonated with you, we invite you to support the channel by liking this video and subscribing to our growing community of seekers. Share this transmission on your social networks. Your curiosity is what keeps these stories alive. We will return soon with another chapter that was never meant to be told. Until our next encounter, stay curious. This is Wikivedia Plus.